National Film Festival's inspiring session on Unlocking the Force, channeling documentary films to drive social transformation. May I please request the audience to take their seats and maintain silence as we move on and get started with our first session in the morning. Our heartfelt thanks to the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting, the National Film Development Corporation, alongside the Satyajit Ray Film and Television Institute, Kolkata. We would also like to appreciate our contributors for making this event a reality. Today we shall explore the dynamic role of documentaries in capitalizing social change with over 20 sessions planned on various aspects of filmmaking and impactful storytelling. We are honored to have a panel of distinguished guests and experts who have harnessed the power of documentary filmmaking to drive social transformation. Today's dialogue will explore how documentaries can be used as a tool for societal impact. Our revered panelists will share their experience and insights on creating compelling narratives that not only tell stories but also inspire action and change. Please join me in welcoming with a round of applause Mr. T.S. Nagabharna. Veteran filmmaker, documentary specialist, and 7-time National Film Award winner. With him, we also have Mr. D. Ramakrishnan, General Manager at the National Film Development Corporation. Audience, we shall also take your questions at the end, so please be ready to join in. I would also now request Mr. Pankaj Saxena, Artistic Director, Mumbai International Film Festival, to felicitate our guests. Thank you so much, Mr. Pankaj, sir. And now may I please invite Mr. Ramakrishna, sir, to commence today's discussion. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the session, Unlocking the Force, Channeling Documentary Films to Drive Social Transformation. I am D. Ramakrishnan. I am General Manager of NFDC. I would like to take you through this thought-provoking discussions today. Today's session, we are going to explore the incredible potential of documentary films as instrument for social transformation. And today, documentary films plays a very significant role, and it's a very important part of our contemporary life. And in the context of India, and also India with its rich and diverse culture fabric, faces many challenges from caste discrimination, gender inequality, to environmental degradation. So documentary plays a very critical and important role to talk about some of these very important issues, and has an ability to highlight these issues and also evoke empathy and inspire action. So, there are many such filmmakers who have devoted their life for, contributing such things to the society. And also there are films that are being made to highlight the issues, to related to the specific region, the different regions and culture, and also to make sure that the positive kind of a change happened in our society. So with this, in this Mumbai International Film Festival 2020, it is also, we are aiming at the theme of India in Amrit Call. The aim of the Amrit Call is to foster positive changes, progress India and development. So documentary could play a very important role in addressing some of the issues which are still persist. And also the documentary can play an important role in addressing the gap between awareness and action, and also communicate with the society with meaningful dialogue, and take care of the needs of issues which have been emerging day by day. So who could be better than a person like Dr. Talakad Srinivasaya Nagabarana? We call him Dr. T.S. Nagabarana, a luminary of Indian cinema with 40 years of rich cinematic experience, won 10 national awards, in which 3 are from the national integration, and 8 Indian panorama of his films, and 6 Filmfare awards, and you can count, the numbers. It's going. He's such a luminary person who has made his life in contributing, dealing with social issues through his feature films and documentaries. And he is with us, and he not only contribute his, the significance of presence in mainstream cinema. He also a prolific documentary filmmaker. He has started his film with Grahana, which was started as a documentary first, later become a feature film, which has won, I think he was 24 years old. He has started making documentaries, and that Grahana has been made as a documentary feature film, and that got 2 national awards, including the national integration. And he is a versatile personality, and he has so much to do with kind of his effort to social contribution related to all genre of the aspects of life, contemporary life of the people, and so thank you, sir. We welcome you, and being part of this wonderful session, and I'm sure we are going to discuss many of the the things related to social documentary making, and also how documentary has been evolved over the period of time, and what is the different kind of the perception among the audiences, and also from the point of view of the filmmakers. Even I have many of the things I'm going to clarify with you today. So it is going to be a more interactive. And so to start with, I wanted to ask you, you have a diverse portfolio, whether it is cinema or a documentary. You have traveled a long way, from your 40 years of journey, and you put your foot in different aspects, and especially from the social issues. You have dealt with tribal community, you have dealt with mental health, you also dealt with self-help group, and also for the cooperative movement, if I'm not wrong. So where you always have the conscience of making social issues based content since from your childhood, we would like to know, sir.
Thank you, and all of my friends sitting in front of me. Eid Mubarak. आज तो बकरीद है. So Eid Mubarak. Let us start with something. As you all know, I am from a remote village near Mysore. My primary school happened in that village, and later on I shifted to Bangalore. So I'm not a CBSE, ICSE student. My English will be very Kanglish, we call it as, including Kannada and English. So Kannada is a regional language which we speak in Karnataka, South India, Karnataka. I am from Bengaluru now. To make it more, my demographic clear, so I am putting it in front of you. Since my childhood, I had a dream that whenever I used to look at the sky, I used to see lot of cloud formations. So whenever I see a cloud, it will get into some shape. So I used to say that is Rama, that is Ravana, something like that when I was a child. And my granddad used to say, no, there is a war between Rama and Ravana, and he used to explain the things. That's how my imagination started working up. He was a Yakshagana artist, my granddad. So that's how the performing art came into me, and slowly I took into cinema. Since I wanted to focus on this social reformation and how the social impact will be for a documentary, I'm made some notes on that also, but I may refer it in between, so don't mistake that. If it is in Kannada, I would have, without those papers, I could have started talking to you. But I use those references for my focusing on the point. So since you asked about the social cause or social changes any powerful media can change, what do you think of cinema? Cinema, is it a powerful media? If it is so, then automatically cinema has to have a responsibility also. Usually what happens, especially today, it is no man's land. Don't you think so? Today, cinema is no man's land. Actually, we all make a joke. One who has not studied, one who doesn't know anything, he can become only two things as a profession. He can be a filmmaker or a politician. That is what is happening today. But I don't consider that as like that, because cinema is education and education is cinema. That's my slogan when I started Karnataka Chalanachitra Academy. Cinema in education, education in cinema. And today, that is what is happening. Unless you have the discipline of educational value for any media, it will not sustain. And today, all of you being the students of cinema, I am also, even today, I am a student of cinema. I have come here to learn something from you while talking to you and talking to Ramakrishnan sir. And conversing with that, I want to enrich my own experience also. Since you have asked about the consciousness of social content, I think feature film and documentaries have both represent social realism. Have you found any film which is no way connected to society? The characters or the incidents or anything you connect, it is directly connected to the society. So invariably, a filmmaker has to be socially relevant. He must update himself for the social problems all around him. And that's why in my films, when I started working, because I am from a farmer movement, later on joined student movement, and then continued with theatre movement. Because theatre is a performing art wherein we can portray through street plays and others so that we can educate the rural folks. That's how I started my journey. Because of that, I was already intending towards the social changes which we wanted to make through a powerful media. So this powerful media was that. So since my whole upbringing started with a social relevant movement, invariably I started working with that. I started working in theatre, working on street plays, putting all the problems together and in front of people, and I used to know how best I can do it with that. So the first thing, what as a director, I started with plays and slowly shifted to cinema. And my first film also, it was a social problem. And I took that as a documentary, but later on slowly, when my friends sat together, they said, no, 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 you can make a film out of this. Because the visuals are so stark reality, bitter truth it is. So you please use those visuals to make a big feature film. That's how I became a feature film director. But with all that, any social content which is relevant today, I think we all have a responsibility to pick up those social problems or whatever it is, to portray how much you can reach the audience. And from my career, of spanning between 50 years of my career, 37 films, if you go back and see from day one to this, all my films are socially relevant, and there will be some social responsible comments which come out of a film.
Very good, sir. Thank you so much for the, your earlier experience. You had started with your consciousness about social drama and the documentaries. So I just wanted to ask you, when we are talking about documentaries about real people, real incidents, real situations, and films are shot without, costumes, without sets, and you just make the object to talk from the point of view and record, and then document the views of your perspective about the society. There are a number of documentaries and different kind of documentaries. So now our topic is very specific to social documentary. So let us get into the core of our topic. I would like to know how you define social documentary. So I would like to know, sir.
Each has got their own perspectives. Each one of us, somebody may like chapati, somebody may like idli, somebody may like dosa. Each one has got their own taste and perspective. The society is like that. Each one views in a different form. Their perspectives are totally different. But how do you gather that? How do you focus that? How do you get into that? The core. What is that core which is to be addressed? I will just refer a Upanishad so that we will know what exactly we have to do. It is from Ishopanishad. Hiranmayena patrena satyasyapi hitam mukam tatvam poshanna parvunu satya dharmaya drishtaye. It means the truth is covered with golden lid. The truth is covered with golden lid. A seeker of truth will remove that veil of enchantment and pray for the realization of the truth by crying out to the Supreme God, who advises the whole world to grant him the vision of truth. The truth, documentary, has to be truthful. The root of Sanskrit word satya is sat, which means that which exists, which is all is. So the documentaries must speak the truth. That's why it is a kind of realistic form. That's what I always feel. It is an artistic tool to social transformation. It is the voice of social change. Are we on the right path of the truth, seeking the truth? Is it what we have to? Is documentary's definition it is seeking the truth? The fact? What is that fact or the truth? I define documentary like this.
Excellent, sir. It's a beautiful, kind of explanation and definition which you have given. Yeah, I think my doubt, I think some of them present here might have had kind of, wanted to know the definition or get to know about it. Thank you so much. And sir, moving ahead, So documentaries are made for people and stimulate their action. So how a documentary can a meaningful engagement with the audience, that is the people or a society or a community, and how the public discourse which could happen through documentary to participate the people to take up the social issues.
It is not so easy for a filmmaker to go in the truth path. It's very hard because of so many supporting systems which will not support him at all. Because any independent filmmaking, it cannot be done because today you have to have a support, the financial support also there. When once some support comes, the demand also comes. Their agendas will also come. Especially filmmakers, they must stick to a system. What is the system? Am I going in the right path? Am I finding the fact? Am I putting up all these facts together to convey what I wanted to convey? So invariably, he cannot make it more filmsy. That's why whenever you see a fictional film, automatically you will see that it has been recreated. When once you recreate a fact, it will not be a fact which is there, which has been you manipulated the recreation. That's why especially documentary filmmakers has to have a different kind of visual literacy. I do call it as visual literacy. Unless and otherwise the visual literacy is known to him, he will not perform well. He will not be knowing what connotation he has to build up. That's how it works. So documentary filmmaker has got a responsibility, and he must also have the aesthetic sense to connote the shots which he wants to use. And here I think each documentary filmmaker will be totally different from another. Yeah. As I told you about the perspective of each person is different. Even his narration will be different. Even his approach will be different. So I cannot make a film like what I wanted to. Ramakrishna's film is still Ramakrishna's film, and Nagabhana's film will be a Nagabhana's film. It is an individual perspective for the society.
Yeah, thank you, sir. It's wonderful to know about the public discourse and community engagement with the documentaries. I just, when we are talking, the one of the leading documentary filmmaker from the history of documentary, John Grierson, he defined what is documentary. He said that documentary are about in the interpretation of actualities. What you have said is absolutely right. It is about truth. So the Grierson has made the definition, I think, from very long. So we have been from that, John Flaherty, all this, you have been, Nanak of the North. Yeah, Nanak of the North, about the Eskimo. That's the first, I think, 1922, the documentary film, the movement has started. So my question, sir, to next is that, I have a doubt. Every filmmaker, whether it is from the documentary or from the cinema making, they always comes for the creative thirst. They have, they wanted to, bring the creative elements which has been hidden into their inner life or inner sense to just wanted to, explode it. So, do you think that a filmmaker can change the world and, making one documentary? Because when he comes to the world, you have a very limited, you don't have a, you cannot do whatever one. Everybody has limitations, so even the society or something like that. So I wanted to know that through a documentary, through a single film, whether the society can be changed.
Certainly. I will give an example for that in my film only, because what are the factual details how do we put the factual details? What is the Satya, the original Satya, and the manipulated Satya, sugar-coated Satya? All this truth which has to be known to the maker. In my experience, in 1975, I did a short film of Soliga, a tribe which was there in Mysore district. It is a tribe which stays in the hill, Bihar Hills, Mahadeshwara Hills, and Hegadevankote Hills. Those hills, a hilly area, they will never come down. They only come down for a festival or a sandy, and they will go back, buying everything. They never used to have any relationship with the cities or towns or villages. That tribe was, when I was a child also, I used to see them whenever they used to come to my village. It was that interest made me to go all the way to their place and shoot. And I borrowed a 16mm camera. So you must know how hardship it was to shoot in a 16mm camera with a 16mm negative which was not available in Bangalore. We had to buy it from Chennai. So with all that, we did that. I, with my cameraman, both of us went all the way, stayed there for 6 months, did that documentation. Just covered their life from day 1 to day 30. Stay there. There is no script, nothing. It was only a documentation of that. That was in 1975. I made a clipping, all edited and presented with the music and everything. And I presented it to Government of Karnataka. I showed them. When once they saw it, they came to know about that tribe and they started working on that. Unknowingly or unknowingly, there was a health point started, there was a school started there, there was something which was moving in that BR Hills, which is a remote hill. And after 25 years, when I went there, I can see a Mysore University doctorate who is from that tribe, and 2 engineers who is from that tribe. They are working in factories. That is the change which we wanted.
Super, sir.
Which we never thought. I never thought that it is going to change that, this, and I had the passion only to record that. It was just a document. There was no script. That's what I told you. There was no script. There was no written script that I have to do this, that, this, nothing. I just covered from day 1 to day 30. That's all. This is how a documentation. I'm not telling it is a documentary. I might be. It might happen because there was no voiceover at all. Only one music was there. I didn't know how to put a voiceover during that time. So these kind of experiments, unfortunately or unfortunately, it reached the right people there. Those who are supposed to change the society's upbringing, they started working on that. Today, even today, if you can go there to BR Hills, go and see that Vivekananda Park and Vivekananda Girijana Kalyana Kendra. Even today it is working, fantastic approach. There are a lot of, almost 300 students per year, they are coming out of that. This is what a social change can happen. So it means a documentary can adopt. That spirit came for me because of my street plays. I used to produce a lot of street plays. Any problem, we used to produce a play and perform in front of a village or in front of a park or something like that. So that's what we wanted to. And when I got a tool like camera, I started using that as a tool. And it helped me in bringing Soliga's life into a different level. And that is the power or strength of the documentary or a documentation. So I always feel proud whenever say there is a tribal thing which happened. It might happen because of that.
Super, sir. Like, you said that the power of documentaries, that needs to be underlined because NFDC's primary objective is to promote such kind of the quality and powerful documentaries. We are supporting young filmmakers. That's one of the mandate of NFDC. So moving forward, sir, so in continue with that only change I'm asking. Now I wanted to know the conditioning, social conditioning and personal conditioning, filmmaker or any individual. We always try to condition we always explore or enter into the area we are afraid of, we are fear of. So we wanted to first condition ourselves. I also feel that any individual or any filmmaker, when they documentary or cinema, when they venture any project, they try to first they have the inner self, or which they have affected by the object, which is the society. So they first condition themselves to get their anger out, to not through propaganda or anything, like in the way of documentary filmmaking. So this is the individual, and then it is always the influence of the filmmaker will be there in the film. So what he wanted to communicate is half of the things which is come from him, from the inner side of the filmmaker. So through documentary, whether the society can be conditioned.
Might be or might not be, because some of them take it as a half-truth. They will not digest the bitter truth. So invariably the society will not be ready for a preaching. They will not accept the preaching. Unless and otherwise it affects their own life, they will not ask for a change. Especially we have to induce things like, if this social awareness can be benefited to the society, then automatically they might get into the changes. Always we say that cinema is a powerful media which influences the life of, that is always I call it as Vikruta Manas and Sukruta Manas. There are two minds in our mind. Vikruta will always try to get to the dark side of it, because they always feel that I must fight like Shah Rukh, I must do that, these kind of all terrible things will be running around. Whereas while building a society, it is Sukruta, which is relevant to the society, which has to build the society, which has to construct the societal emotions. That's where actually documentary plays a vital role. If he is honest, if the filmmaker is honest enough, I think he will achieve that. If he is dishonest, for example, that will also I will tell you, because of some agenda the filmmaker will be setting in to make his own views, his agenda, because of its NGO or whatever it is, or the production unit, or the team which want to produce that, or those kind of agenda oriented thing invariably spoils this totally. It dilutes the whole system, and the seeking of truth becomes half truth, and even that is fake truth. A fake narrative can be sustained. It can develop into a different form, and what you wanted as a positive shade can become a negative shade. That may happen. I think in larger scale, in some of the documentaries which we have seen throughout, for a purpose they start, and unknowingly or knowingly they started blaming the government or blaming the persons, and invariably it became a blame game rather than a constructive utilizing opinions. This is what is the documentary filmmaker must keep in mind, and especially one who wants to seek truth, he must be more cautious, because the truth is not so visible. Whatever he feels, it is his truth. Somebody may feel that no sir, it is not that truth, so it is different truth. So the Satya is an evasive thing. That's what the Ishopanishad said. You have to open the lid and see it slowly.
Yeah, true, sir. True. It's enlightened me also. I also venture sometimes, which I never explored or I am afraid of. So that's made me clarified what it's truth all about, and how to understand and unveil the outer part and the ornament and see that. So now come to the style and the art part of the documentary. I just wanted to know that documentary express the impressions of the society. So how can we tell the art in reality? in terms of the poetry way of portraying the documentary. Because in the documentary or any content or any, whether it is cinema or documentary, the style and content interrelated. So how you show or what you show and what you get in the process, it's more important, like the style and content. So how we can treat the documentary in the poetic manner to produce the realistically intensive human content in a very stylish manner.
Actually, cinema itself is a language. Cinema has got its own language. Visual language is a different approach, which is almost like, as you said, the poetic language. You play with words there, where we play with shots and visuals which are available with us. How much of poetic it is? Usually what happens, all our Bharatiya Samskruti which had is a oral tradition of narration. From the day one, we are used to that oral tradition. You ask anybody there, he might have listened to a folk form of oral narrative system. And the story is narrated in a oral form. And it was not written earlier. Slowly the writing came. And slowly now the audio came, visual came, audio-visual integration came. So basically the narrative form is what we had earlier. That is in our veins. Whoever who narrates, whether it is a documentary, whether it is a short or a fiction, a feature film, his narrative system is derived from the day one. That's why I always say Shravya Samskruti. That is what is called Shravya Samskruti. That has changed into Drushya Samskruti. So now we are in Drushya Samskruti. But with this also, our roots are to the Shravya Samskruti. That's why we are poetic. We are much more poetic than any other narrators. Or you ask any Indian filmmaker, he will narrate a story in a quick 1 second, he will start narrating a story with this. Yes. That kind of power he has got. Yeah. That's what it has come to the visual sense. Only thing, it has to be formed properly. That is not there. Because they dream in the night and morning they want to obtain the result. That is what is happening today. They just dream. Oh, this is how I want to do. I want to put this problem like this. And morning he wants to do it. No. Since some of the students are here, I always say education is a must for any culture. Education is a must for any skill. So when you go with skill and culture, it is a must for you to learn the Drushya Samskruti from the beginning. How it was, how it developed, what was yesterday, what has to be tomorrow. So those things has to be learned. And that's what literally today's language of visual language has to derive itself. And it is poetic, and our literature has proved it poetic, and our visual literature is also proved it poetic. But several political the thinking also goes with that. It is not just poetic. Now it is political also. You have to be aware of the fact and reality and the truth. It has to go along with the political awareness also. The poetic and politics are going together now. So we have to be careful enough to catch the real truth.
Yeah, no doubt, sir. You have won 10 national awards. There is no doubt that you know the pulse of our entire nation. And 3 of the films are related to national integration. So we could see that how powerful your poetic expression through the powerful cinema or documentary media. So moving forward, sir, that when we talk about the social, the society, community, people, the reality, truth, then there comes your responsibility. So it is, you cannot or anyone cannot step in, something very sensitive or, any subject which talk about the people. The filmmaker need to have a certain kind of attitude, towards what he is approaching. So I just wanted to know, sir, like, in your view, you think that all the filmmakers who have been taking a social transformation through documentaries should have a responsibility towards the country?
Absolutely. They must have the responsibility to the nation, not only nation, to the humanness, the humankind. Unless and otherwise he respects the humanness of each one, he will not be responsible. Because today, if you say that I am going to the left of it, somebody will say, no, I am going to the right of it. Actually, the filmmaker has to pass through the middle path. He must also judge the left and the right, but he must pass the middle path, which has to take care of the humanity considerations, human consideration, because he is dealing with the society. Society is nothing but humankind. So, for various reasons, his responsibility is much more than any writer. A writer can just write, but a filmmaker, especially documentary filmmaker, must show it visually. A writer can just say that he is sitting under a tree and drinking milk. But when you want to show that, sitting under a tree, drinking milk, where will you show? Sitting under what tree? Which tree? Whether he is sitting under a coconut tree, whether he is sitting under a areca tree, the total interpretation changes, dimension changes. The language, that's why cinema language has got a responsibility, and filmmaker has got a responsibility not only to the nation, not only the society around him, to himself. He must be committed. If he is committed, automatically noble purpose will come up. If he is not committed, if he is very ambiguous to go in the middle path or to the left or right, he doesn't know, that ambiguity may take him to a wrong path also. So he must have the commitment as a filmmaker, as a responsible filmmaker.
Yeah, thank you, sir. And it's a great thing we get to know that, the responsible part of the filmmakers. Moving forward, again, continue to the same question. So when we talk about responsibility, when you come on cinema or documentary especially, so when you have the camera, you have the editing, you have a music, so there is always a subjectivity is there. You cannot, that I'm just putting this, saying that, when you use, if I use a computer, I have my influence on what I'm going to, draft or anything will be there. My subjectivity will be there. And also anything like, even when you shoot somebody, when you fix a camera, even that kind of, some kind of interpretation, you want to put some kind of a creativity. That also a subjective thing maybe. So I want to know that how you balance the subjectivity and also the objectivity. That is, the objectivity is the purpose of the documentary. We have to show the truth, which is not being disturbed by any of the subjective, even the perspectives of the filmmaker or his own ideas or everything. So he can just add value to that, but he cannot give influence or something. So we wanted to know the truth. That is what the documentary is all about. We wanted to see that what is happening, and we wanted to get affected by what is happening, and we wanted to take the communication forward and discuss on that what is this is not being seen by us. So the documentary filmmakers always show the vision which was not visible, the inner kind of a thing that you said that opened and then show that. So that things was hidden, never people think of that particular perspective. So that was the documentary. So how you balance subjectivity and objectivity?
Any balancing act has to be in their mind, especially for a committed filmmaker. I told you just now that he has to have a middle path. But whatever it is, an individual filmmaker has to have a clarity of what he is doing. If he doesn't have the clarity, then he cannot have the commitment also. He must know that I want to tell you these things. When once you are committed and at the same time the clarity is there, your depiction will be more clear. Otherwise you cannot depict it. So it will become fake narrative. You yourself has got an ambiguity, and that way subjective narration will be strengthened by that. If it is objectively, if you are committed, the subjective narration will be strengthened. If you are not committed and clarified yourself, then you cannot put it in front of the people. And especially in short films and documentary films, now today we have got a lot of 1 hour, 2 hour documentaries are also coming, and earlier it was only 10 minutes maximum, 15 minutes. Other than that we were not allowed to. Even the film division wanted to have only 10 minutes documentaries or something like that. So to script the whole thing for that 10 minutes, including that facts which are available around, that was a major drawback for any filmmaker. Because he has got lot of material, but he has to concise it to a small one, and he has to put the thought in front of him. And today, because of your other medias around you, you can express whatever you want with a detailed, natural, small things you can eliminate and exhibit more, so that you can get into the right path.
Yeah,
so can do that.
Yes, sir. So quickly, move forward, because I think we have been, nearing to our time limit. So I have many questions to, ask you, but I think so. Before going to the audience, I would like to, go to very the important things which is happening in the world, which is technology. There are so much of interference from the visual media. Earlier it was only limited access, but with the emerging technology, in virtual reality to talk about anything, and you have the gadgets, iPhone or any phone, the individuals are making films. So everybody become a filmmaker nowadays, and then
That's what I told you. No man's land. Anybody can do anything.
Yeah. So everybody is taking a film, and it's no limit, ultimate limit. We are talking about reality, truth. So everything. So what you wanted to say about the emerging technology, which is so fast. Every day there is something new coming, and it makes the visual media to cope up with the content and also the narration, and also in terms of truth which documentary gives. So how do you see the technology emergence?
Actually, visual media, it is now in new avatar, a new face which has come up in such a big way. Actually, it has given everybody to express themselves. So they can go ahead, do something, and come out with some visual language and say that this is what the reality is. It is very good, because you are increasing the diversification of that, and even everybody can think twice, or he can think in visually. So that is a plus point. And at the same time, the minus point is the concentration. You are not concentrating on the problem. You are not concentrating what you wanted to do. You want just to do it and finish it off. So that is what actually the Facebook reels, all these reels and other things, shots which are coming without any purpose. I just want to make, that's why I am making. No. Why you are making? What for you are making? What is the purpose behind making? You have to ask all those questions, so that you will know that for society, to change the society through visuals media, you must have that purpose behind it. That if the purpose is not there, I don't think you can do that. Especially social media platforms. I think YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, whatever it is, everything, you know that. I think it has made the mind corrupt. Earlier, the viewing spanning time was 1 hour, 30 minutes. Now, it is 3 minutes. So we have reduced the mind strength, the viewing strength which was there. If you sit for a 1 hour film, you start moving around, looking here and there. So only the concentration will be only for 3 minutes. So, growing the visual tendencies, growing the visual imageries, invariably your mind is getting corrupted so that you will not concentrate on a longer period. So that is what is happening, and I wish the new avatars will help in creating a new visual language which will help the next generation to express more using images.
Yeah, we take the questions from the audience. Before that, I just finish it with, in continuation, this thing, sir. Even our Honorable Prime Minister, he spoke about the emergence of AI technology in G7 summit. He said that the emerging technology should be aimed for the progress and well-being of the human being. So technology, he also said that every individual should have a responsibility when the face of technology emerging. We should also have a responsibility to see that it should help the human being.
Especially
So
AI, we are yet to get to know about the AI, artificial intelligence. You are yet to know what exactly we are going ahead, but we have to be very cautious. As our PM said, it has to be, I think, for the benefit of the society, for the benefit of human kind. It is not just to use it in a different way. I think we must be very, very responsible, especially documentary filmmakers and filmmakers must have in their perspective that AI has to be used for a purpose, not without any purpose.
thank you, sir. Thank you for your thought-provoking discussion we have had. I just wanted to pass the mic to the our audience to take up the questions.
Hello, sir. My question is the difference in divide in terms of technology availability compared to our times and your times. Since we have all this new available resources at our end, and our learning curve has become much shorter, how can we utilize it much more? I mean, how can we extract the most out of it? I mean, you certainly had a lot of disadvantages compared to us. You had to reels and all that. Now that we don't have any such problems. So how is it that what are we lacking, as a younger generation?
You have to open your ears and eyes so that you can receive as much as possible, but hold on to what you wanted to hold, because a lot of misinformation will be there. You open up your Google, it will give you a lot of things to you, but what you want actually. So you must just acknowledge only that much. And today, the technology is on your fingertips. Yes, To see a film, to see a good film, we used to run to Delhi from Bangalore for a festival. Till then, we were not able to see a good film at all. That was the day when 1970s, 80s, and 90s. And slowly it went on changing. And today, you have got everything on your fingertip. But you must keep your eyes and ears open, so that only what you wanted to grab, please acknowledge only that. Leave the rest of it. Otherwise, you will be confused. Throughout, you will be confused. And you must grow as a multi-dimensional way. It is not one way it is. It is your character, your intelligence, everything has to be multi-intelligence, multi-talented, multi-skills. So why you want to have these multi-skills? You must know editing, you must know sound designing, you must know camera, you must know script writing, you must know everything. Why? Because today the sports is so fast, you are running so fast. Unless you are multi-skilled, you will not be getting any chance to lead the whole community. You are multi-skilled, then automatically you will be in the forefront. So I think it is not just you have got everything on your multi-thing. You have to know how to control that. It is Brahma Rakshasa. What I always say that it is a Brahma Rakshasa. Unless you hold him, it will be under your control. If you get to his hold, automatically you will be thrown out. So you have to be careful of that Brahma Rakshasa.
When we talk about bringing social change via documentaries, I'm myself a filmmaker and I make documentaries on social issues. But a lot of times I face this challenge when I go to a producer or for funding or for a commissioning editor. They ask me a simple basic question. The first thing they ask is whether it's a national issue or it's a regional community-based issue. You know, so it gets very challenging at times. Do you think we are in a scenario wherein national issues are given more important than like a regional-based or a community-based issue?
Shall I answer with my experience, if you don't mind? There was an alcoholic community which was running haywire in Udupi and Dharmasthala, that area. So Dharmasthala Virendra Hegde, he said that somehow we please eradicate this liquor mafia. So I went there and studied that, and I took a camera with me, because during that time there was no camera, so I had to take 35mm camera only. And I went on shooting a liquor addict fellow. I started, as I told you about Soliga, I started his journey. So why? He was such a good farmer, good worker, good father, good husband, everything. But after 5 o'clock, after 6 o'clock, slowly, once he gets into that liquor, this thing, he will be the devil. We shot the whole thing. And I showed that footages to that community which was sitting there. And at the same time, I told them it can be cured. So do you want everybody to be like this, or you want to change everything? There was no sound, only visuals. I couldn't carry a sound recorder also. There was no sound for that. Then they said, how can you cure it? Then give me some time, I will come back with all the... So I shot the other part of it, where sitting will happen for those fellows, and Madhya Varjana Shibira is to be happen. I shot the whole thing and I edited it and came back and showed to them. They said, yes sir, my Ram was to be like this. That Korga has to be like this, sir. He must become a man. He must not go back to that. So what to do? Please bring him to Madhya Varjana Shibira. So I took him and I stayed with him. I shot all the shots which we did in Madhya Varjana Shibira. And later on, when he came back also, after 1 year also, I went there and shot 2-3 shots of him, so that what he is doing right now. This is what happened for a community. So it depends upon what type of approach you want it to. Whether you want to issue a national issue has to be shown, you must go through that. So then you have to fight for it. Otherwise, you will not get. Nobody will give you money. Nobody will support you. Somebody will support you for their agenda. That's what I told you. All NGOs, they started for their agenda. Somebody asked me, sir, you have to make a film on this. Then I asked him, what is the subject? This is the subject, sir. No, I'm sorry. So I don't want to make it.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for your explanation. Yeah, so we have just come to the end. We had a very interesting session today. And it was not only thought-provoking, we have get into very detailed expression about the documentary world. We start from what is social documentary, and then we get into the public discourse. We spoke about social change, and we spoke about how to condition the society, and also we spoke about the poetic narrative style and subjective, objective of different documentaries. And also you gave the tips about the thin line between the documentary and the feature film. And we spoke about the technology and the AI, how it has been impacting. So I think this is a very beautiful session. So I'm really proud to be chairing next to you, because such a luminary and international personality you are. And we are thankful for you to come here and then attend this session, sir. To conclude the session, I just
I just want to thank you all, and thank you especially. And as I lost some words which I wanted to tell you. Our country has adopted the 4-faced lion on the Ashoka pillar of Saranath as its national emblem. You have seen it, no? 4. And Satyam Eva Jayate mentioned, which is mentioned in Mundaka Upanishad. Again, I am coming back to Upanishad. As its base, Satyameva Jayate. So just think of that. This line was adopted as the national motto. Documentary filmmakers must adopt that motto for their films. That's what I wanted you, and I think we are in the right path if it is done like that. Satyam eva jayate. Let us all chant with Satyam eva jayate, please.
Yes.
Because I am a theatre person, I always conclude with a theatre skill which I used to do. I run a theatre group called Benaka by B.V. Karanth, Baba Karanth and Girish Karnad. Even today, 50 years it has celebrated. So I just wanted to do, just chant with me. Satyameva jayate, Satyameva jayate, Satyameva jayate, 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 Satyameva jayate, Satyameva jayate. Thank you, sir. Thank you all.
Ending with such high spirits and high energy, I would like to thank Mr. D. Ramakrishnan sir for leading today's enlightening session, and also thank Mr. T. S. Nagabharna sir for his valuable contributions to today's session. We shall also like to acknowledge the National Film Development Corporation for hosting this festival under the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting, and extend a special thank you to you, my dearest audience, for your presence this morning. I am Ayushi Dholakia, your host, signing off for the day.